Tonight on Tower Talks, a major update to the ongoing Robert Robertson execution case, what the recent developments mean for the Texas government, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announces tuition freezes, a closer look at the impact on students, spirit organizations, a large part of university life, an expert panel here to discuss the formation and impact on them. All of this coming up on Tower Talks. Good evening and welcome to Tower Talks. Good evening and welcome to Tower Talks, the show where we take a closer look at the stories affecting Texans, Austinites, and students right here at UT Austin. I'm Abby Saenz, and we wanted to let you know that this week, Texas Student Television is live 24 hours a day for our Horn Raiser campaign. There will be no commercials if you're watching us on cable this evening. During our usual commercial break, you will be able to see a behind-the-scenes look at the Tower Talks show and how it is ran and operated. TSTV's goal is to raise $13,000 to fund new equipment for our studio. You can donate anytime during our show through the link in our Instagram bio. Any amount is greatly appreciated, and we thank you for choosing to support student voices. Tonight, we have an expert panel lined up for you to talk about spirit organizations, but before we get into that, a lot is going on around the world and in politics. A few weeks ago, Tower Talks brought you the story about Robert Robertson, currently a Texas death row inmate. Robertson was convicted of the murder of the 2-year-old daughter in 2003. The case has brought national attention due to his daughter being diagnosed with shaken baby syndrome, a diagnosis that has gotten more scrutiny in the scientific community in recent years. Right before his execution, a bipartisan committee in Texas House subpoenaed Robertson to testify. This action caused Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to step in, and he continued to block the committee from obtaining testimony from him. The Texas Supreme Court ruled November 15th that the committee's actions cannot delay the execution. The new execution date must happen 90 days after the request was filed. Texas Governor Greg Abbott can grant a 30-day reprieve. However, he already declined to give it in October before Robertson's execution. With these 90 days, Robertson's lawyers have time to file more appeals or conduct new discovery attempts before the testimonial to the Texas House Criminal Jurisprudence Committee. Ken Paxton's office declined to comment on whether they will block this attempt or not. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced a tuition freeze for Texas public colleges and universities for the 2025 through 2027 academic years. This move, aimed at easing financial burdens from inflation, extends a previous agreement to keep tuition flat for the 2024 through 2025 school year, backed by $700 million in state funding. According to ABC 13 Houston, Abbott's goal with this tuition freeze is to keep college affordable for in-state students. Tuition for public schools in Texas averages around $10,200, with the total cost of attendance averaging over $28,000. In a letter to the university system's chairman and chancellors, Abbott declared inflation for families as a key factor for extending the freeze. His office spoke with the Board of Regents at every public university system, with every system agreeing to not approve tuition increases. At the end of the letter, Abbott also stated that college affordability will remain a top priority in the upcoming Texas legislative session in 2025. This comes after Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick puts school choice in Abbott's voucher program at the top of the next session. Tower Talks will bring more updates in 2025 when the 89th Texas Legislature regular session begins. Last Tuesday, New Zealand lawmaker Hano Rahii, Maipi Clark, and other Maori parliament members protested a bill designed to reform the country's historic treaty with its indigenous people. When asked how their political party would vote on the bill, Maipi Clark tore her copy of the bill and began to perform a haka, a ceremonial group dance that signifies the group's strength and unity. The Treaty of Waitangi, a treaty signed in 1840 between the Maori people and the British Crown, establishes a set of laws and policies aimed at redressing acts against the Maori by British colonizers. However, the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi Bill, introduced in 1975, proposed that lawmakers re-evaluate the Treaty of Waitangi. The bill was introduced by New Zealand's right-wing political group act on the basis of concerns about equal rights and indigenous people receiving special treatment due to ethnicity. As a result of her protests, Ms. Mai-P Clark has been suspended by the Speaker of the New Zealand House of Representatives, Gary Brownlee, who called his demonstration respectful. This Tuesday, November 19th, an estimated 40,000 people in New Zealand have since participated in a march in protest of the bill. Coming up, we have an expert panel here to discuss spirit organizations. Stay tuned. Tower Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Tower Talks. Our expert panel tonight includes Jack Myers, a second-year speech, language, and hearing science major and the Spirit co-director for Always Texas, and Samantha Barajas, a second-year psychology major and Spirit co-director for Always Texas. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. So here at the University of Texas, there are almost 40 different spirit organizations according to the university. I wanted to start off and get to know a little bit about your spirit orgs. So can you describe the mission or purpose of your organization?
Of course. Firstly, our org is just to bring a safe place to everyone on campus. We're very inclusive. That's one of our main pillars. I think that's what helps us stand out so much, is that we have inclusivity and community as our main pillars in our org, which is the biggest thing going on right now with everything going on in the world. We think that's what we should keep and help everyone get a voice and just be comfortable where they are. So that's what Always Texas is for them.
Thank you so much for the insight.
Absolutely, a lot of the same stuff that Samantha was saying. Our 7 pillars are spirit, service, community, inclusivity, progressivism, and love and traditions. And I think that we do a really good job of trying to make sure that those are represented just in how we interact and stuff. And so I think that it's a really, like, we're a smaller spirit org, so I think it's a really nice, close community, and that's been really fun.
That is amazing to hear. Thank you both so much. And how long has this org been around?
We're newly formed. We barely came together in 2021, very new, in Moore Hill, which is very fun. That's where I was living at when I first started at Always Texas, so it was like a full circle.
Definitely a full circle moment. And at the University of Texas, how can student organizations be created and maintained?
I think we don't know very much about the actual like organization or the actual creation process. Even though it's pretty recent, like we know. I think a cool part about like being founded in 2021 is that we know all the founders like pretty well. Like both of us have talked to Leland a whole bunch, which is really cool. But so we don't know a whole ton about the actual creation, but I think like for maintenance, it's a lot of just trying to make sure that we get a decent recruitment class in, and so we call our recruitment class cuties. So just trying to make sure that we keep the org growing through having like a decent sized cutie class every year.
For sure, that is amazing to hear. And what is the process for electing positions or new members?
So when we consider new members, it's everyone can come, more than welcome, and they go through a process through recruitment, and then they have to gain their points and can be initiated. For when we do elections, any member is able to get into the general body, so like our spirit, social, and service committees. But when it comes to our exec members, the presidential, our DEI, VP of DEI, you have to be already existing exec members. So for that, you would have to be there and then nominated by 2 other exec members.
I understand, thank you. And then what is the leadership structure of the student organization?
So, like Samantha was saying, we have 2 co-presidents, and then we have secretary and VP of DEI, and then each of our 3 main committees are spirit, service, and social, and each of those are headed by co-directors. So we're the spirit co-directors.
I love the leadership going on there. And what does a typical week or semester look like for a member of your organization?
It's filled with amazing events, getting to know one another. We have almost like a spirit, service, and social event planned almost every week because we just want to build a community within our org, which is really big because we're starting out very small. I think right now we have 86 members, so we're very small, but we're mighty. So we do that, and then I think in the fall semester we have our barge, and then in our spring semester we have our retreat. So those are the 2 biggest things for us, especially for us because we're spirit, so we plan them. So those are going to be the biggest things we host, and all the members can come, more than welcome, and that's the biggest thing where we like build and strengthen our community within each other.
Mighty but strong is the perfect way to put it. So thank you so much for that. And I wanted to dive a little bit deeper and discuss more on how your organization has impacted the university as large. So how do you think your organization contributes to a sense of belonging on campus?
I think that it's really awesome to have a spirit org that's small and focused on inclusivity and community in the way that we are, just because it means that like we know everybody who's in the org, and that's been really nice that we're both second-year students, and so it's feels like we've like from our first year have gotten to get really involved with it, and like we know everybody, we're friends with everyone, and just feeling like there's a big friend group in it has been really awesome. So I think that like getting involved with spirit orgs is a great way whenever you're new to campus to like be forced into like you have these set up events and stuff that it's like, okay, you know, you're gonna know someone there, and that's really awesome.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. It's like gaining a new family.
Absolutely.
So what role does your organization play in connecting students with faculty and alumni?
So we do a lot of workshops. Of course, we have our alumni come back every time. Every event we'll have Leland come back. We have a gay gala that he still to this day helps plan, him and Ali, our ex-presidents. They're the most amazing people. They always come, show out, help donate, help do everything, and that's just amazing. And when it comes to faculty, we do a lot of power hours, so we're just like, go to your TAs, get help, like you're good, like we're here to support you. If you like need any struggle, we're here to help you study and everything. I think that's how we stay connected.
That's truly amazing to hear. And how do you measure the success of your efforts to build school spirit?
I think that a really great measure of that is just like looking at how our org continues to grow over time, and then just looking at participation, that we really try to get people involved, especially being part of Spirit, that always Texas hosts our own Spirit events, and so like we have like tailgates and like watch parties and different stuff, just trying to get involved with Austin. So like recently we had a field trip to Peace Park that was a lot of fun, but so we just try to have actual Always Texas events as well as encouraging people to go into the community. So like we had a huge turnout to Longhorn Lights last night. That was a lot of fun to just be walking around enjoying everything from UT. And it's like, oh hey, you know, there's an Always Texas member, and like we always try to like get together and stuff for our points. So it's been a lot of fun.
To build off of that, it's so funny. We have a spotted channel in our Slack, and it was going crazy in the Longhorn Lights. It was so funny.
That is so cool. And what are some major traditions your organization helps uphold on campus?
So amazing question. I think the biggest one is the Kind Clinic that we do. For our gay gala, it's surrounded around the Kind Clinic, and it's free for everyone to use on the UT campus. The Kind Clinic gives free STI testing, pregnancy test, anything and everything, and that's what the biggest thing is for us, is to do that. Every fundraiser we have, every service event, every money raised with Always Texas gets donated to the Kind Clinic.
That's amazing to know. Thank you so much for sharing that. And are there any unique or lesser known events your group organizes that you're particularly proud of?
I think that our retreat has always been like a really fun event, and so that's a spirit event that we host in the spring, and a lot of other spirit orgs do retreat, but we're one of the spirit orgs that we try to do an overnight retreat. So this past year we went out to West Texas, and we had a 2-night. Yeah, we had a 2-night overnight retreat that was a lot of fun, and just a lot of fun to like, you know, sit around a campfire kind of thing and like hang out with everyone. And we, you know, went on some hikes and we went thrifting, and it was a lot of fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun indeed. And what inspired you to join this organization, and how has it shaped you and your college experience?
Personally, for me, I was very sad and alone when I first came here. It was my first time being away from home for such a long time, and my mentor was like, join a spirit org, you'll make amazing friends. And she was completely right. I've made some of my best friends in this spirit org. They helped me, push me to be a better person. They've pushed me to get like jobs here on campus that are like flourishing and helping my future. And I feel like if I didn't, I would still be stuck in my dorm. But Abby Saenz has helped me grow as a person, but also as a student.
That's an amazing story. Thank you. And what's your favorite memory or moment from being a part of this group?
I think that one of my favorite memories has been just getting to be around everyone, but especially the gay gala last semester, informal. I like whenever we get to dress up. It's a lot of fun. So those are events that or especially the gay gala, we try to, you know, earn money for our philanthropy, which is the Kind Clinic. And so just having other friends from outside of the org, but also everyone in the org, which is really great, and like everyone's dressed up and like super cute, so I thought that was a lot of fun. And we did some like line dances, which I thought was really fun.
Forever cherished memories.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. And then how has being involved in your organization helped you grow personally?
I guess our leadership skills grew a lot, especially for this position. We were put into so many different things, so many different opportunities. We were able to grow as people, and just as growing new skills, talking to people, planning events on a large scale. Like for Barge, I had to contact boating companies and everything, which was nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun to grow and learn that way.
Absolutely. And how do you collaborate with other organizations on campus?
We try to make sure that, socials especially will have mixers with other spirit orgs, which is always fun to like get with other like similarly based spirit orgs, and that's just been fun. And then we also try to pull in stuff for DEI. UT has tons of resources. So one of them that we've done recently is the campus tour, the racial geography campus tour that has been really insightful. So I think that just trying to make sure that we're using UT's resources that they have available for us is really awesome.
Thank you so much. Coming up, hear more about recruitment strategies and the challenges of running a spirit org. Tower Talks will be right back. welcome back to Tower Talks. Maintaining a student organization has its own difficulties many do not see. What challenges has your organization faced, and how have you overcome them?
I think our biggest one is that we're so small and started very recently that a lot of people don't know about our org yet, and we're just trying to get recognized everywhere. We're always on Speedway, we're doing interviews, letting people know, going to workshops. I feel like that has really helped. Recently, we've gotten the biggest class of cuties this semester because we did tabling over the summer, which was extremely helpful. And we always just try to show our faces everywhere. So we do everything. We wear always texture shirt as Jack is wearing. So I think those are the biggest things.
Absolutely. Being able to see an organization grow over the years is truly impactful, especially when you have a part in it. And so how do you adapt to changes in campus culture or student interest?
I think that one of the ways that we just, especially internally working on the exec board, is trying to make sure that we're planning events that people will be interested in. So we make sure and have a lot of feedback forms, and both throughout the semester and at the end of the semester, just trying to be like, okay, what events did y'all enjoy? What could we do differently that would increase participation for kind of this, and we talk about that a lot as an exec board, and we try to open up that discussion to our general body too, and that's been really helpful.
That's amazing to hear. And what feedback have you received from the campus community, and how has it shaped your organization?
I think all the feedback we've gotten so far since starting is positive and great, and everyone wanting to come and join and wanting to hear more about us, and I guess that's how we stay aware of everything. We have so many people coming up to us, a lot of partnerships a lot now with other orgs, a lot of bigger orgs, which is very exciting for us, and we've just heard great things like, oh, you guys are making such a big impact, having an open space for everyone to talk, which is our biggest thing, and our VP of DI does an amazing job to do that. They recently held a debrief after the election, which helped a lot of our members and grew a lot of positive feedback, because we even had members that were not from our org come and just talk about how they felt.
That's amazing to hear. Thank you. And are there areas where you'd like to see more growth or improvement?
Given just how recent we've come up as a spirit org, we're just really trying to keep growing, both so that we can continue and our presence on the campus as a whole and just building this community, but also so that we can, the more membership that we have, but we can donate and give back to the UT community and to the Austin community as a whole, just better and give back more, which I think is really awesome.
I also agree. That is amazing. And what challenges has your organization faced?
I guess, again, with being so small, we haven't had a lot of the resources like other orgs have, a lot of money coming in or anything like that, or budgeting. So a lot of our events starting out were very small and very close-knit, which was great. That's how we started growing so much. But I think recently we've just done a lot better getting our voices heard, doing a lot more within campus. We recently did hazing workshops, which helped us so much, and we just we want to show people that we're here and we're here to stay, and we would do anything. We'll give us advice, give us stuff you want to see.
Yes, absolutely. And then I know you talked a little bit about recruiting, so that was mostly tabling on Speedway. So how do you make this process fun and engaging?
I think that every spirit org on campus tables on Speedway for the first couple of weeks of each semester, so it's really hard to stand out on Speedway itself, but I think that we shine through whenever you actually show up to our rush events, and that you just get a really good feel for the vibe, and that it's this close and homey feel to it that I think is a lot of fun.
Being able to just fit right in. And then always Texas, that's literally the perfect name. So what strategies do you use to encourage students who might feel nervous about joining?
I think our biggest thing is letting their voices be heard. We, a lot through all of our recruitment events, we're like, hey, do you guys have any questions or any feedback? Even when they're not recruiting with us, we're like, just tell us, let your voice be heard. We're here to hear everything, no judgment, no judgment at all. And I feel like that has been the biggest thing recently and for the years to come, that a lot of orgs don't do that, and it's because they're so big and they're like, oh, there's so many people recruiting, but ours is so small and so close knit, and it's so open for everyone to come, everyone to have a voice, everyone to have just somewhere to be there, and I think that's the biggest thing for us.
Inclusion is a big thing, so being able to allow all the new members to feel like they have a home and safe, it's truly an amazing environment for Always Texas to provide. So do you do any outreach to local communities or high schools as part of your mission?
We don't right now, but I think probably the most like outward event that we do is definitely the Gay Gala in the spring. Since it's a philanthropy event, we're trying to get people to attend, and so they find out what Always Texas is about and like get a feel for what we have going on, while also donating to a cause that we think is really important. We hope that our members do too.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that. That's truly amazing. And then how do you ensure prospective members understand the values and expectations of your organization?
I think the biggest thing is how we raise points. So every member of our org has to get like a point requirement, and they're not a lot, not extreme, but that's how we know people are like understanding. Like spirit, service, and social are very big in our org, but also that's how it ties us all together, how we stay a family, how we stay this community together, and how you just, like, if you're feeling down one day and just need a friend to see a friendly face or a hug, come to one of the events. It's not such a high stake, but it helps so much.
I definitely need to attend an event this semester. Coming up, a final discussion on the future goals of spirit organizations. Tower Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Tower Talks. Before we close out the show, I wanted to look at the future of your organization. What advice would you give to students interested in joining a spirit organization?
I say jump right into it. Don't get scared. I know it may look nerve-wracking. Everyone there is going to be extremely nice, of course, and everyone's going to be welcoming. They want to get to know you. They want to get to know your names. They just want to get to know you as a person, and it's not scary at all. And do you have anything to add?
Just go to one event. Going to an info session, going to one rush event isn't a commitment, isn't high pressure, and so I know that it's a lot that every org is tabling and every org wants you to join, but just trying to go to just something, and you can go to plenty of other, you can go to as many orgs as you want to go to, so just trying to get into it I think is really good.
And attending that first event gets your foot right in the door, so.
Exactly.
Yes. And how can students get involved if they're not sure where to start?
Again, I think tabling it's so scary, but if you just look at every single one, if you have to go through the whole line, I know it's really long, but you get to see oh, maybe I like this org, I like this academic org or this social org, and I feel like those are the best ways to do it. Getting there, going on Horns Link is the best way too. That's how I found out about Always Texas, where I was like, oh, this sounds nice. I like their mission statement. I like the people there. Do you have anything?
I think just also looking at people's social media, you can look at what your friends are in, look at just every different platform that you can for different spirit orgs, because that is a lower pressure way to look at people and find out what they're about versus tabling.
I agree. I was just about to mention social media. So is it just at Always Texas for all your social media platforms?
Yes.
Perfect. And what skills or experiences would you recommend students gain to prepare for joining?
I think that just gaining the confidence to just put yourself out there, and just trying to go, that college is a whole new experience, and that can be kind of nerve-wracking. So just building up the confidence and just trying to get to that one event that we were saying, as well as just practicing getting out there and talking to people, both for actually getting into the org, but also making friends. And I think that that's really foundational in the first couple of weeks of your college experience, and that'll really help you.
No, and I also recommend taking a friend with you to the events, or dragging your best friend along on Speedway, or going through Instagrams together. Just having a friend there, just having someone there you can talk to when you're nervous or don't know what to say or just need encouragement. I think that's the best way too.
So tell me about your first Always Texas event.
Oh, my first Always Texas event would have to be the info session. I went with one of my friends that is still in the org with us right now, our social director, and it was so it was a lot of information at once, but the people were amazing. We stayed after the meeting and we got to talk to the recruitment committee that semester, and they were so sweet. They knew our names right off the bat. They got to know us, and it was amazing. And the next event we went to, they knew who we were. They came to talk to us, and we're just oh my god, this is so exciting. You know who I am.
Similarly, mine was a rush event that we did, Cards for Kids, which is a service event that we try to do every rush season. That it's just making cards that go to kids that are in the hospital and stuff like that, which I think is really awesome. And it was me and two of my roommates, and so we always showed up to events together, so they started calling us the triplets. And the same thing, that it felt like we really got to talk to a bunch of the exec members, and they took the time to know our names and chat with us one-on-one at some point during the event, which I thought was really special.
So you know what it's like to be a new member, and now you've stepped into the leadership role. So did you ever think that joining this organization that you were going to be in a leadership role?
Not at all. When I first came in, I was I did government during high school, and I was I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do leadership. But off the bat, I was oh my god, I want to do this. I love the org, I love the people, I want to give back any way I can, and Spirit was opening up, and I was I can do it. I love sports, I love helping, I love UT campus, I can do that. So I did not expect that coming into it, but now I'm excited, and I'm ready to do more, move up, maybe, yeah.
Same thing. I fully wasn't expecting going into any kind of an exec position, and even by the time that we got to nominations for exec positions, I was I know that there are positions that are open, but I was like, maybe like balancing school load and stuff like that. But I think that it's been really rewarding, and it's really nice, like especially in the spirit director position, to just realize what all is going on in the UT community as a whole. So like we try to like look at what all events UT is hosting, and there's so much going on that it's like a lot of fun, and it's just been really exciting. I think that a really cool part of Always Texas is that we have a pretty like low bar for joining exec. Once you're a member, like that's super accessible. So we're finishing up, or our cuties this semester are finishing up their cutie semester, and like we're talking about exec positions, and we're trying to encourage them like, hey, just so y'all know, like we know that y'all have been in this for not even a full semester yet, but y'all can get into exec and get involved with the decision making that goes on in our org.
Yes, and many of them are going to be in exec. They are running, so we're super excited to get to know them even more.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And talk to me more about cuties. So how did this name come to be?
I think when we first rushed, we didn't even know why it was called Cuties. It was such a cute name. I think that's what brought us in, because now we're lovelies. So when we came in, we're cuties, but now we're lovelies. We're like, oh, that's such a cute name.
Yeah, once you're an initiative member, you get to be a lovely, which I think is really cool. And I think that they were just looking for a cute name to go with it. So we have cuties and lovelies. And the cutie semester is like really interesting because one of the things that we do is you're rushing, so you're trying to get your points requirement, which is 5 in each of the categories, which is really doable. As an exec team, we try to make sure that there's plenty of point opportunities for all of the cuties to be able to get them. And then another thing that you do is your cutie class project. So as a class, and we were part of the same cutie class, so as a class, you try to get together and plan a service event and figure out how you can give back. And so you get to talk as a class and figure out like what matters to you and how you want to accomplish that, which I think is really cool and helps with the getting people involved in the org, that they get to plan something and they're like really interacting with all of our pillars, which I think is important.
So you would say that you both grew up together?
Yes.
I love it. So what are your goals for the future of the organization?
I think continuing everything we're doing now, doing more, getting more recognized. I know we've been recognized by UT Campus for being an outstanding holding up the pillars for almost 3 years now, which is amazing. And I think we want to keep that going because we're small and mighty, like I said, but we're going to get so much bigger, and I know everyone's going to just want to join.
Just trying to keep growing, and as we grow, making sure that we're maintaining the values that we originally were founded with. And I think I talked about this before, but just making sure that as we grow, we keep getting to give back to the community in a way that we think is really important and still represents our pillars.
I couldn't agree with you more, and that's truly amazing, getting recognized. What do you think makes your organization stand out?
I think our pillars have to be the main thing of how we stand out on campus. We not only hold the same pillars as everyone else, spirit and social, but we come more with our community, our traditions, and inclusivity and progression, being such a diverse org, having people from every different background, different culture, from people of different colors, queer people. We're very diverse, and we want to keep this going, and I think that's what makes us very, very different from different orgs.
Yeah, and especially with the inclusivity part, we do a really good job to try and make sure that we're recognizing all the diverse community that is part of our org, and just making sure that we're also recognizing like UT as a whole. So like today is Trans Day of Remembrance, and so we had a conversation about that at our general meeting last night, which was awesome.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And what legacy do you hope to leave behind for future members?
I think just to be more yourself. Don't be scared. I know college is scary. You're millions of miles away from your parents, but to be yourself, and you'll be loved by everyone in the org, because that's what we try to do, is keep that open space and just recognize that you're your person, you're strong, and you have a voice here, and we will want you to be heard.
I also just like being an exec and being able to make an environment and plan events where it gets to be super fun, and we're trying to encourage people to maybe talk to someone in the org that they like don't normally talk to, kind of thing, and all while having fun, whether that be like a service event and we're volunteering, or it's a social and it's just a party, or we're having a spirit event and we're rooting for UT to win, kind of thing.
Thank you so much for sharing all the amazing insight and intel about your amazing organization. That's it for our discussion today. Thank you, panel, for coming out tonight and informing us more about spirit organizations. Tower Talks will be off next week, but stay tuned for a closer look at the upcoming Texas legislative session on December 4th. A final reminder that TSTV's annual 24/7 fundraising event is continuing through Friday, so please consider donating through the Horn Raiser link. Be sure to follow us on social media at TSTV News on X, formerly Twitter, and at Tower Talks TSTV on Instagram. Check us out at tstv.news online and subscribe to our newsletter, Newsroom Notes. From all of us here in the studio, thank you for joining us this evening, and good night.